What's up, friends, fellow card collectors, Card Hobbies here. Today we are doing something different. Today we're going to go through the 2019 regular season batting leaders. So we're going to go through a bunch of stats here. I'm going to show you the top 3 in each stat and mention somebody that almost made it but didn't quite make it. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, our first stat today we're going to discuss is hits, just straight up hits. Who had the most hits in the majors in 2019? Well, I can tell you who almost made it, but didn't, and that was Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts finished the season with 190 hits. Very good season, but not enough to make it into the top 3. So who was number 3 on the list? None other than DJ LeMahieu. Oh yes, good old DJ LeMahieu, shown here in his Rockies uniform. He played this year with the Yankees and racked up 197 hits. 197 hits. Just 3 shy of his first 200 hit season. Had a very strong season for the Yankees, was one of the main cogs in that Yankee offense. So DJ LeMahieu was number 3 on hits. Okay, I decided to pull out the easels here so we can kind of have a sort of a little podium here, kind of like in the Olympics, huh? Alright, so number 2 for most hits in MLB was Mr. Rafael Devers. That's right, Mr. Rafael Devers had a breakout season in a way after a somewhat disappointing 2018. First time breaking 200 hits in a season. Devers finished with exactly 201 hits in 2019. Devers has a great future ahead of him and showed it out in 2019 with his first 200 hit season. And now for number 1 on the list, none other than Whit Merrifield. Doesn't want to focus. Whit Merrifield. Yes, the great player nobody ever talks about. Whit Merrifield, second baseman for the Kansas City Royals. Toiled away in the minors for 7 seasons before he made it to the major leagues and did not give up that opportunity. Been a great player ever since he's been called up. Finished the year leading the major leagues with 206 hits. It's his first season in which he's gotten over 200 hits, and it's his second straight season of leading the major leagues in hits because he also led in 2018. So let's move on to the next stat. Okay, up next we have doubles. Before we get to the top 3, let's say who almost made it. Who almost made it into the top 3 of doubles in the major leagues? None other than Anthony Rendon, which is funny because Anthony Rendon led the National League with 44 doubles, but did not be in the top 3 of Major League Baseball. Did that mean that the top 3 were in the AL? Well, there might be a little twist on who's number 1. So let's start off with who's number 3. None other than X-Man himself, Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts had 52 doubles on the season, playing in good old Fenway Park, which is a very good doubles park. After a good 2018 season from Xander Bogaerts, he had an even better 2019 season. 52 doubles. 52 doubles. Next up, number 2 on the list is none other than, who is that? Yes, Rafael Devers once again. Shows what a great season Rafael Devers had. And of course, teammate of Xander Bogaerts, also gets to play in a great doubles park at Fenway. Devers had 54 doubles this year, and he led the AL in doubles. But wait a second. You just said Rendon led the NL in doubles, and Devers led the AL in doubles. Who's number 1 then? Well, it's kind of a trick question because this person played in both leagues this year, and that's none other than Nicholas Castellanos. Nicholas Castellanos traded from the Tigers to the Cubs this year. Yet another player nobody really knew about why he was playing on the Tigers. Hit 37 this year for the Tigers before being traded. And then after he got traded, he went to a club that was contending at the time, the Cubs. And in 51 games, hit 21 doubles. In 51 games. That's almost a double every other game. He ended up leading the major leagues with 58 doubles. So he led the major leagues in doubles, but did not lead either league because he switched leagues. One of those weird cases. But Nicholas Castellanos is your doubles leader for 2019. Okay, next up we have triples. So for the almost category, almost got in there for the tops of triples were Ketel Marte and Malik Smith. Ketel Marte, the Diamondbacks breakout player, and Malik Smith, the speedster from the Mariners, both finished the year with 9 triples. However, we don't have a top 3. We only have a top 1 because 4 players tied for triples, for the lead in triples in MLB in 2019. The first player is none other than Ketel Marte's teammate, Eduardo Escobar. It's the first time Eduardo Escobar has led the league in anything, and he beat out the breakout player for the Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte. So congrats, Eduardo Escobar, who had 10 triples. 4 players tied with 10 triples this year. One of them was Eduardo Escobar. You may be asking why do I only have 3 easels up here? Because I don't have a card for Eduardo Escobar. So maybe I'll throw up a picture or something of Eduardo on the screen. Okay, next up, the funny thing is, all 3 of these players played for the same team. We have Hunter Dozier. Hunter Dozier plays for the Royals, but unfortunately I don't have a card of him in his Royals uniform, only in his Stephen F. Austin college jersey. So here's Hunter Dozier, one of the Royals with 10 triples this year. It's really interesting because you don't really consider Hunter Dozier a speed guy. I mean, in his whole minor league career, he only hit 3 triples, but yet comes up to the majors, had 4 last year and 10 this year. So it helps that he plays in a park that's very conducive to triples at Kauffman Stadium. So next up, we have Alberto Mondesi. Now, this is a guy that people know has speed, doesn't want to focus on him, but Alberto Mondesi, of course, many of you remember him from the World Series back in, 2016, where he kind of bursted on scene, but you totally expect Alberto Mondesi to be up there in triples. He's really fast, and he steals lots of bases. So, and he plays for the Royals in that stadium. And finally, their teammate, the third Royal, with 10 triples this year, none other than Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield's got pretty good speed. You wouldn't really call him a burner. He does steal some bases. He's got above average speed, but he's no Mondesi when it comes to speed. But however, he puts the bat on the ball a little bit better than Mondesi does, and got himself 10 triples. So there's your 10 triples. There's your 2019 triples leaders, -1. Sorry, Eduardo. I don't have your card. Okay, next up we have batting average, one of those traditional stats that still sticks around even though some people don't agree with it. Batting average is still a major part of MLB, so we actually have 4 easels set up here. That's because 2 of them tied for second place. Who almost made it but didn't? Once again, Anthony Rendon. Now you know why that man is going to get paid next year. Almost made it into the doubles category, almost made it into the batting average category. But Anthony Rendon hit .319 this year. Really good batting average. But number 3 for the tops in MLB in batting average was none other than DJ LeMahieu again. Sorry I had to show him in his Colorado uni, but I do not have any cards of DJ LeMahieu in a Yankees uni. LeMahieu had his highest batting average since 2016 when he hit .348. Here in 2019, LeMahieu hit .327, so a very good batting average, but not as high as he hit in 2016 while playing for the Rockies. But the other way, DJ LeMahieu's number 3 because of the 2 tied for number 2. Alright, so who's the first one tied for number 2? Just got done talking about him in the triples category. It is none other than Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte plays for the Diamondbacks, had a breakout season. Here he's pictured in his Seattle uniform on that optic card. His breakout year consisted of hitting 32 home runs, 92 RBIs, Had those 9 triples and 36 doubles. Very good. He also hit 329. Who did he tie with that 329 average? None other than your 2018 MVP, Christian Yelich. That's right, Christian Yelich. Second season in a row. He got a batting title because he actually had the official batting title in 2019. I think he was like a percentage point higher than Ketel Marte. But when you rounded to 3 digits, they had the same batting average. But I think Christian Yelich actually won the NL batting title in 2019. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. For as good as Christian Yelich was last year, he actually hit 3 points better this year. Fortunately, his season was cut short with injury. So, who led the MLB in batting average? This guy. None other than Tim Anderson for the Chicago White Sox. Now you may say, who? Tim Anderson? Yes, Tim Anderson had the highest batting average in the major leagues this year as he hit 335. A lot of people just didn't believe Tim Anderson could ever do that. Tim Anderson made some adjustments to his swing, really cut down on strikeouts, focused on hitting the ball at all fields instead of trying to jack everything out of the park. Really tried to focus more on making solid contact with the ball every time he swung the bat, and it paid dividends as Tim Anderson hit 335, slugged 18 home runs, stole 17 bases. I think the future is very bright for Tim Anderson. I think he may be able to adjust that swing to where he hits for average and power, and I really think that Tim Anderson is a solid player going forward. Interesting to see where Tim Anderson goes as he enters his late 20s. He may be a very solid player for somebody, and including the Red Sox, who have a great young core already. But yeah, those are your batting leaders for 2019. Alright, let's talk about RBI. That's right, runs batted in. Tell you who almost made it, but didn't quite make the top 3 in the major leagues, and that is the phenom rookie, Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso finished with 120 RBIs, however fell just shy of making it into the top 3 in Major League Baseball. But don't worry, I'm pretty sure you'll see Pete Alonso here shortly. So, who was number 3 in the Major Leagues in RBIs? None other than Mr. Freddie Freeman. That's right, Freddie Freeman had another solid, yet somehow quiet season where he actually posted career highs in RBIs with 121 runs batted in and a career high in home runs with 38. Freddie Freeman had a struggle in the playoffs as the Braves saw an early exit in the National League Division Series, but Freddie Freeman is none other than the cornerstone of that Atlanta Braves team. Number 2. Do you remember this guy? Jose Abreu. That's right, Jose Abreu is still in the league and is still mashing the ball. He was the 2014 Rookie of the Year as he blasted on the scene. This past season, he bashed 33 home runs and had a career high 123 RBI. Very good season for Jose Abreu. The White Sox are looking up. You don't know whether or not Jose Abreu is going to filter into that as he is getting older. Now on the other side of 30, will the White Sox continue to get younger? And will Jose Abreu see his way out? I believe the White Sox would be best keeping Abreu in there as a veteran presence for those young players. Number 1 in the Major Leagues in RBIs was this man. That's right. I've been mentioning him as almost in a lot of categories, but Anthony Rendon, the man that helped the Nats forget about Bryce Harper, with the help of Juan Soto, of course. But Rendon had career highs in RBIs, doubles, home runs, batting average. Is sure to get some MVP votes, although most believe that will fall to Cody Bellinger. However, Rendon had 126 RBI to lead all major leaguers and is in a contract year, so Rendon is almost guaranteed to get paid as the top free agent coming out in 2019. And there are your RBI leaders for 2019. Okay, time to talk about everybody's favorite stat, dongs. Get your mind out of the gutter. Talking about dingers, big flies, home runs. Everybody's favorite stat, the stat that gets everybody more hyped than I am when the Dolphins finally get a first down. So, who was just short of getting onto the top 3 in Major League Baseball home run list? None other than Cody Bellinger, your NL MVP frontrunner. So, without further ado, let's get into number 3 with a grand total of 48 home runs. None other than Jorge Soler. And many are saying, finally, Jorge Soler has that breakout season where he shows off his power that the Cubs were wishing he had a few years earlier. Led the AL in home runs with 48, first Royal ever to lead the league in home runs, which is easier said than done because that stadium is not easy to get home runs out of. Number 2 on the list, with one more than Jorge Soler, is the lovable Venezuelan third baseman from the Reds, Eugenio Suarez. That's right, with 49 home runs, followed up a great 2018 season with an even better 2019 season. As many know, these are sluggers, so they do strike out quite often. Most home runs by a Red since George Foster hit 52 back in 1977. Now many say, oh, you can't count Eugenio, he hits in that small ballpark. Well, Eugenio hit 25 home runs on the road and only 24 at home at the Great American Ballpark. Now, number 1, you already know who this is, but none other than the polar bear himself, Pete Alonso. That's right, his rookie season led all the majors with 53 home runs, broke the rookie record for home runs, which was set by Aaron Judge just 2 seasons ago. First Mets player to ever reach 50 plus home runs in a season, and is your front runner for the Rookie of the Year award. I believe he's already won the Baseball America Rookie of the Year award, but for sure is going to win the NL Rookie of the Year award, no doubt. Those are your home run leaders for 2019. Alright, let's talk about stolen bases. With so many people hitting dingers this year, stolen bases has become somewhat of a lost art. People don't run into outs on the bases if you're going to have a guy that's going to hit a home run right behind them. So, you kind of seen stolen bases fall off for a while. However, you still have your artists out there that will steal some bases. So, who was close but didn't make it? None other than Ronald Acuna Jr. Yes, your all's favorite hype prospect, driving up those card prices on eBay, Ronald Acuna Jr., some which was made about his campaign for a 40-40 season. However, he only finished with 37 stolen bases after he was shut down towards the end of the year. However, Ronald Acuna does have a really good chance to do it in the future, since the majority of his stolen bases came in the second half of 2019. So, without further ado, who was number 3 in stolen bases in 2019? None other than an Oriole. That's right, Jonathan Villar. Jonathan Villar, as you can see, stole 62 bases back in 2016 with the Brewers. However, he had 40 this year for the Baltimore Orioles. He also bashed 24 home runs. Jonathan Villar is a legit 30-30 guy if he could put it all together in one season. Now, another thing Jonathan Villar did was play all 162 games for the Orioles in 2019. Could you imagine that? All the games that the Orioles lost, he was out there on the field for those. So give mad props to that guy for going to work every day. Number 2 on the list was on the list earlier for triples. That's right, Alberto Mondesi. This guy can run, we all know that. However, he's not very good at getting on base, only a .291 on-base percentage. He strikes out way too much, but when he does get on base, look out, he's probably going on you. 43 stolen bases in 2019, good for second in all the majors. If he could only cut down on those strikeouts, get on base a little bit more, you may see those stolen base numbers creep up, possibly above 50, maybe even into the 60s. Alright, number 1 on this list is another speedster, but you haven't seen him yet today, none other than Seattle's Mallex Smith. That's right, Mallex Smith, another one of those speedsters that has trouble getting on base. Really struggled at the plate this year, only hit 227. It's almost like a Billy Hamilton 2.0. Really struggling trying to get base hits, hitting 221. However, he does walk at a higher clip than Alberto Mondesi, which probably helped him log those 3 extra stolen bases he needs, as he logged 46 stolen bases in 2019, enough to capture the crown as stolen base king of 2019 in Major League Baseball. He as well strikes out way too much, cuts down on his strikeouts, walks a little bit more. You're looking at a guy that can steal you 60, 70 bases in a year if you really wanted to. So there are your stolen base leaders for 2019. Okay, that brings us to my favorite stat, and it is OPS plus. Now you may be wondering, what is OPS plus? Well, you may not even know what OPS is. OPS is on base plus slugging, which is a very, very great stat for determining the offensive capabilities of a player. Now OPS plus does is it takes that OPS and puts it out on a league average, so that the average league hitter in OPS would have an OPS plus of 100. If you are above 100, you are better than the average major league player. If you are below 100, you are better than, or you are worse than the average major league player when it comes to offensive contribution. Now the best players can have really high OPSs. Barry Bonds sometimes had an OPS of over 200, which means that Barry Bonds during those years was twice as good as the average major league player. Barry Bonds had some years like that as well. So if you have an OPS over 2, that means you put together a godly season in a way, because you are twice as good as the average MLB ball player. So without further ado, let's get into the top 3 in OPS plus for 2019. Who was close but didn't make it? This one really surprised me, but number 4 on the list was none other than Nelson Cruz of the Minnesota Twins. Nelson had a very, very good season at an advanced age with a 166 OPS plus, which means that Nelson Cruz was 66% better than your average major league player in 2019. But however, he did not make the top 3. Who did make the top 3? Well, number 3 is, that's right, Cody Bellinger for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Had a 169 OPS plus, meant he was better than 69, or he was 69% better than the league average. Finished the year in the top 10 in homers, slugging, runs, walks, RBI, and on-base percentage. Is probably your front runner for the MVP since Yelich got injured right before the end of the year. However, he did struggle in the playoffs, but however, I don't think anybody is going to not vote Cody Bellinger to the NL MVP, although Christian Yelich may still get some votes. And that brings us to number 2 on the list. Pyaw! That's right, Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich had a higher OPS plus than Cody Bellinger, even though he got injured before the end of the year, breaking his kneecap, which just sounds totally painful. Yelich finished the year with a 179 OPS plus, meaning he was 79% better than the average ball player. Finished top 10 in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, home runs, and stolen bases. Yes, he can steal. Hopefully that broken kneecap doesn't slow him up too much, because he is one of the top players in the league. Had a 40-30 season, hit 40 home runs, stole 30 bases just like Ronald Acuna Jr., but he did it hitting better. His 2018 campaign was good, where he had a 164 OPS plus. His 2019 campaign was even better with the 179 OPS plus. You can still vote Christian Yelich as the MVP of the league, even though he was injured. But however, I think the injury is going to take votes away from him, and Cody Bellinger is going to win the NL MVP. Number 1 in OPS plus for 2019. Who is considered the best offensive major leaguer in 2019? None other than No surprise here. Mike Trout. No surprise at all, Mike Trout. You didn't see Mike Trout on any of these lists. That's because Mike Trout doesn't lead the league every year in anything. He also got injured this year. They had to shut him down. He would have probably been in the top 3 in home runs if he was able to finish out the year, but unfortunately he wasn't able to because of injury. 185 OPS plus, 85% better than the league average player. Did finish top 10 in on-base percentage, slugging, home runs, and walks. This dude gets on base. This dude drives in runs. This dude hits home runs. One of the greatest players of all time is playing right now in the Major League Baseball. If you are unable to watch Mike Trout play, you are missing out. He is going down as a legend in the game already. What else is there to say? But Mike Trout, once again, top of the league. So I hope you all appreciated that video. I had a lot of fun making it. Let me know what you think about videos like this, if you like stats and stuff like this. Don't know if I'm going to do one for pitching. Pitching really doesn't have the stats that, offensive players get. Yeah, there's some stats I could cover. Maybe I could do a pitching leaders video, but I don't know. I had a lot of fun doing this one. So this is the Card Obvious. I appreciate y'all watching. I still got room in my group break. 7 slots left. Y'all want to get in? Just go to cardobvious.com. You'll find it there. Remember, y'all, you can only control your thoughts and your actions, so stay positive. Keep ripping them packs. Support baseball. Baseball is such a great sport. It's losing popularity. But remember, you can always bring a younger fan into the game to help the sport along. This is Card Obvious. I'll catch y'all later.